We now come to the backbench debate on the recognition of genocide by Daesh against Yazidis, Christians and other ethnic religious minorities.
Yesterday evening, here in the UK Parliament, we heard the truly harrowing personal testimony of a brave 16-year-old Yazidi girl called Ikhlas. She was seized, along with others from her community, by Daesh from her home in Sinjar, northern Iraq. At age 15, she saw her father and brother killed in front of her, told of how every girl in her community, over 8, including herself, was imprisoned and raped. She spoke of witnessing her friends being raped and hearing their screams, of seeing a girl aged 9 being raped by so many men that she died. Many young girls had their fragile bodies rendered incapable of pregnancy, and others, far too young to be so, were made pregnant. Horrifically, she spoke of seeing a 2-year-old boy being killed, his body parts ground down and then fed to his own mother. She told of children being brainwashed and forced to kill their own parents. Fortunately, she managed to escape her prison during a bombardment of the area around it. Others are not so fortunate. We also heard from another woman, Yvette, who'd come directly from Syria for last night's meeting and spoke of Christians being killed and tortured, of children being beheaded in front of their parents. She showed us recent film footage of her talking with mothers, and more than one, who had seen their own children crucified. Of another woman who saw 250 children put through a dough kneader and burnt in an oven. The oldest was 4 years old. And of a mother with a 2-month-old baby. When Daesh knocked at the front door of her house and ordered the entire family out of it, she pleaded with them to let her collect her child from another room. They told her, "No, go. It is ours now." Speaking to MPs at yesterday's meeting, the young girl Ikhlas implored us, "Listen to me. Help the girls. Help those in captivity. I am pleading with you. Let us come together and call this what it is, a genocide. This is about human dignity. You have a responsibility. ISIS are committing a genocide because they are trying to wipe us out. Members, I put to you that not just one, but every single one of these criteria was satisfied by those 2 testimonies yesterday. Yazidis and Christians have been targeted explicitly because of their religion and ethnicity. But not just them, also the Alawites, Shias, Shabaks and Mandians. Daesh is targeting specific groups precisely because of the characteristics of those groups, and it has declared this. It has declared that its acts have genocidal intent. Now, as a consequence of the evidence meticulously collected by NGOs, activists and the UN, resolutions have indeed, as has been mentioned, been passed around the world condemning the actions of Daesh as genocide. The Council of Europe in January, European Parliament in February and the US House of Representatives in March this year, following which the US Secretary of State John Kerry made an announcement confirming the position of the US government, stating, "Daesh is responsible for genocide against groups in areas under its control, including Yazidis, Christians and Shia Muslims. Daesh is genocidal by self-proclamation, by ideology and by actions." If this is the position of the US government, why is it not the position of our own?
The Honourable Lady spoke about the meeting that she convened and chaired last night, and I listened also to Ikhlas, a very, very powerful speech from a young woman who has been through hell, who's been through something that no young woman or young person should have to go through.
As we heard from others, last night in Parliament, a young Yazidi woman, Ikhlas, came to tell her own story. It was a most harrowing account of what had happened to her family, and a graphic description of what has happened not only to her, but thousands of other people in Syria and Iraq. Before Ikhlas spoke, she was introduced by a human rights lawyer, Jacqueline Isaac. Jacqueline spoke of the shock of the fear of the knock on the door by fighters from Daesh, which would lead to people being characterised into different groups, with murder, rape and being taken hostage commonplace. When Ikhlas closed her submission last night, she implored us. She said, "I'm asking for help." Madam Deputy Speaker, we have a responsibility for Ikhlas and for everybody else that we heed that plea. What are we going to do for A-class? We must stand up and support the call to have the United Nations Security Council confer jurisdiction on the International Criminal Court so that we can take action. The Peshmerga attacked the place where A-class was being held, and she managed to escape before being rescued by Yazidis. This brave young woman, who has faced so much and witnessed such utter horrors, wants to become a lawyer and fight for women's rights. Maybe, just maybe, if she fulfills that ambition, she can yet play her part in the legal team that bring her prosecutors to justice. We must help her and those like her who have suffered from the genocide that has taken place.
I'm very happy to support this motion tonight because the case has been made over and over again. I met many Yazidis, both in northern Iraq itself, after some of the Peshmerga and the campaign for human rights in northern Iraq had actually rescued some of those women and had bought them on the open market. And they were calling then for our additional assistance. Now, we have given humanitarian assistance. I think we could have done much more. A lot of tears have been shed about the Yazidis, but actually I would have liked to have seen much more practical help given to the Peshmergas to assist in the liberation of those thousands of women, and thousands of women, Yazidi women, are still captive. And we should be aware of that and be ready to give whatever assistance.
There have been many excellent contributions in today's debate from both sides of the House, and it does appear to me that the House is united in its view about what the government should do next. And just returning to what Eklas said in her testimony yesterday, the thing that will stay with me is hearing about that 9-year-old girl repeatedly gang-raped, and when her body couldn't take the brutality of the assaults anymore, she was murdered in the most horrific of circumstances. These are crimes most of us will struggle to comprehend. And as we've heard today, these are not crimes that are being randomly perpetrated. They are organised crimes, deliberately targeted at particular ethnic and religious groups. And Amnesty International has described these acts as ethnic cleansing on an historic scale. I'm very pleased to say this evening that we will be supporting the motion in front of us. And if this House passes the motion in front of us today, as I hope we will do, it will be an historic moment. I've not been able to find another instance where the House of Commons has formally recognised an ongoing conflict as genocide. And as we've heard, the United States government announced that they considered the actions of Daesh constituted a genocide. This is only the second time that they have recognised an ongoing conflict as a genocide. In conclusion, Madam Deputy Speaker, the people of this country do not walk on by when they see evil being perpetrated against fellow human beings. And what is happening to the Yazidis and others is evil. We want our country to stand up and declare solidarity with these people and refer what is happening to the Security Council. We believe genocide is being committed, and I hope the whole House can come together this evening in supporting this motion before us.
Order.
The ayes to the right, 278. The noes to the left, 0.
The ayes to the right, 278. The noes to the left, none. The ayes have it. The ayes have it. Unlock.